Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivinoda Swami Iti
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivinoda Swami Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Satyadeshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Bhaktivinoda Bhaktivinoda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Bhaktivinoda Bhaktivinoda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Bhaktivinoda Bhaktivinoda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Bhaktivinoda Bhaktivinoda
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
So this week, on Friday, it's an auspicious day. It's the disappearance day of two very great souls, right?
Yes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and someone.
Gadadhara Pandit. Yes, Gadadhara Pandit and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, Gadadhara Pandit, of course, is shown there in the Panchatattva. He is the associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Panchatattva, we have 5 features. We have Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the original personality of Godhead. Lord Nityananda is expansion of Krishna. And Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of the devotee. Right? So Nityananda is the expansion of Lord Chaitanya, and Advaita is incarnation of devotee. And then Gadadhara represents the internal potency. Gadadhara is expansion from Srimati Radharani. And Thakur is the marginal potency, Narada Muni. So Gadadhara Pandit was a very lifelong associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They grew up together. When we go to Mayapur, you can see the home of Gadadhara is very near to the home of the place where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears at the Yoga Pith, and Gadadhara's home is just a short walk from there. So Gadadhara Pandit grew up with Lord Chaitanya, and they were childhood friends. They went to the same school. Of course, in the beginning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing his pastimes of being a scholar. He was Nimai Pandit, right? He wasn't Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That came later. Chaitanya was the name given when he took sannyas. But Nimai Pandit was one name by which there were other names also for Nimai, like Vishwambar, one who maintains the universe. And then he's also known as Gauranga, popular name. So Lord Chaitanya associated with Gadadhara. And even people worship Gaur Gadadhara deities. If we go to Mayapur today, at the Yoga Pith, at the rear end of the Yoga Pith, there are deities of Gaur and Gadadhara. These deities were worshipped by the wife of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And after the wife departed, then the deities were brought there into the temple at Mayapur. They're being worshipped there today. Gaur and Gadadhara. Gaur Gadadhara deities are also in another place. If you go to Champahati, if you go on the Navadvip Parikrama, have you ever been? Navadvip Parikrama? Yes. You've been?
Yes.
Good. So on Navadvip Parikrama, we go every year to Champahati. Did you go on the English-speaking one or the Hindi one?
No, the English-speaking one.
Okay. So every year, every party will visit Champahati. It's a very important place. And the deities of Gaur Gadadhara are there. These deities are 500 years old. And they were worshipped by the younger brother of Gadadhara Pandit. I'm forgetting his name now, but his name was I'm forgetting. Anyway, the deities are big, the big size, Gaur Gadadhara. And they're very ancient, 500 years old. They were discovered for us by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He heard about them and he went there and they persuaded the people to give the deities. They brought them, made the temple in the place called Champahati. Champa means, is referring to champaka flowers. And Hati means, you know the meaning? Hati? Market. In Bengali. I guess that's the Bengali word. Champahati. In 5,000 years ago, the gopis would come there to collect champaka flowers, to make garlands, to give to Radha and Krishna. Champaka flowers, they're very fragrant. They grow very easy. You get many flowers on a champaka tree. It's too cold here though.
You can't plant in here.
Huh? You never get them here. But any, places like Thailand and India, you can take a branch, stick it in the ground, and a tree will come up. In a few years, you get a whole big tree. And there's many champaka trees around, and we usually will go out and collect the flowers from these trees. So champaka flowers became a marketplace there. And so Gadadhara deities were there. Vaninath, that was the name of the brother, Vaninath. The younger brother of Gadadhara was called Vaninath, and he worshipped his older brother along with Lord Chaitanya, Gaur and Gadadhara deities. Who is Gadadhara? We said he is the expansion of Srimati Radharani. And Gaura is, of course, combined form of Radha and Krishna. He is Krishna, but coming in the mood of Radha. Anyway, worship of Gaur Gadadhara is very elevated. We worship Gaur Nitai. Worship of Gaur Gadadhara is more for the meditation aspect. But our Krishna conscious society, we are more dedicated to the preaching mood. And Gaur and Nitai, they represent that preaching mood. Lord Nityananda with Lord Chaitanya, they would preach. They would go and do Sankirtan and distribute Krishna consciousness. Anyway, Gadadhara Pandit was a very nice soul, very gentle. He was a lifelong brahmachari. He never married, and he was very austere, and he wasn't from a wealthy family, they were a poor family. So it happened one time, a famous man was coming to Navadvip, a man called Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Did you hear the name?
Yes,
Pundarik
very
Vidyanidhi?
rich man.
I was just listening to a story of Pundarik Vidyanidhi from Chaitanya Bhagavat today. I didn't even realize
Really?
the connection. No.
You heard the story? Oh my goodness, okay. Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So, let's see how much you remember. Pundarik Vidyanidhi was coming to Mayapur, so they told Gadadhara, I think it was Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was always talking, Pundarik, he would say, my father, my uncle, or something, in some relationship, and he knew Pundarik is a wonderful devotee of Lord Krishna. There's a place called Pundarik Dham. If you go to Bangladesh, now, of course, Bengal used to be one country. Now it's divided, East Bengal and West Bengal. West Bengal is part of India. So East Bengal is Bangladesh. But it's all Bengal, actually. They speak the same Bengali. Bengali, right? Balo Achan. Ami Balo Achan. Bengalis, they will always ask you, are you good? Are you happy? Like Kaisi, like that. So, Pundarik Vidyanidhi was having a big land. He was a wealthy man, a landowner. And he came to Navadvip. And so they told Gadadhara, a great devotee is coming to Navadvip, Pundarik Vijayanidhi. You must come and see him. You must come and hear from him. Right? When we come to see the sad, it's not for an eye exercise. It's for the ears. We have to use the ears, it's hearing which is important. Just like when we go to Holy Dham, when you go to the Holy Dham, it's not to just see the Dham, but we go there to hear. We want to hear from the great souls who live there, right? When you went to Vrindavan, you heard from your spiritual teacher. You were hearing from him. We don't go to just see. The important thing, the ears are important. It's the ear exercise. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, now hear from me, O Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. That's 7th chapter, 1st verse of the Bhagavad Gita. It's an important verse. It's the beginning of Lord Krishna's description on Bhakti Yoga. And Lord Krishna says, touch Shrinu. The word Prabhupada said, very significant word, touch Shrinu. How's it go? Anyway, touch Shrinu, that hear from me, how by practicing yoga, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So practicing yoga, what is that yoga? Of course, it's the yoga of devotion. It's not just the stretching and the bending, or the pressing the nose, the pranayama, but it's the hearing, the yoga of hearing, exercising our ears to hear. So Pundarik Vijayanidhi came to Navadvip, and Gadadhara thought, oh, a great devotee is coming. I want to go and hear from him. I will go. But Gadadhara went, and when he came there, it was a bit of a surprise to him, because he was expecting to see a holy person. And Gadadhara was thinking, people have this idea, what is a holy person? They think, holy person, somebody maybe should have a big beard, long hair, and red dress, like that, that kind of holy person. We say sadhu or Babaji, So there you get many people like that. They have the long hair and the beard and the powerful eyes, They'll take control of you. So Gadadhara thought he was going to see a sadhu like that. And when he came and saw Pundarik Vijayanidhi, it was a shock. It was a shock, right? Why was it a shock?
You were very rich and opulence.
Yes.
And his bed. He had such a fancy bed.
And he had a coat, I think a very...
Old lace.
Yes.
Yeah, and he had...
A spittoon. He had a spittoon for the...
spittoon for his pan.
And he was looking in the mirror.
Yeah. His hair was all nicely groomed.
Yes.
And on the table in front of him, there were many sherbet and namkins and and sweetmeats and different things were there for the enjoyment of the tongue. And Gadadhara's coming in there, and there's Gadadhara, he's a brahmachari, and he's very austere, and he sees this man, and of course many rings on the fingers, and the nails are also very nice, polished. And Gadadhara's thinking, what? This is a sadhu? What kind of sadhu is this?
Yes.
You know? And so Gadadhara was thinking, cannot be a sadhu. But then his friend Mukunda was there. So Mukunda Datta is one of the very intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya also. Just like when we sing Gora Arti in the evening, right? We mentioned about Mukunda, how he sings that. How does it go?
Sanjaya Mukunda
Sanjaya Mukunda Vanu Gosha
Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gora Adigaya. Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu. Right? Now Mukunda, Sanjaya Mukunda and Vasu Gosha. They're all singing sweetly. So Mukunda was very expert in singing different slokas from scriptures. He could recite and could sing beautiful songs also. But he could also sing different slokas, and he could understand the mood of different people. Lord Chaitanya used to relish the association of Swarupa Damodar Goswami. Swarupa Damodar was the secretary of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And whenever Lord Chaitanya would be in a particular mood, Swarupa Damodar would sing a song or quote a verse which was directly related to that mood, which would enhance Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy. And that is why he was always with Lord Chaitanya, because Swarupa Damodar, he was the expansion of Lalita Saki, right?
Yeah.
And Lalita Saki, she's a very dear friend of Srimati Radharani. And Lord Chaitanya wants to cultivate Radhabhav, the mood of Radharani, that love which Radharani has for Lord Krishna. So Lalita, she would help Radharani to increase her ecstasy, her feelings of love for Krishna. And same way, Swarupa Damodar would recite verses to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here's Gadadhara. He's sitting looking at Pundarik Vijayanidhi, and Pundarik Vijayanidhi, somebody's got a peacock fan there fanning him, and someone else is on the other side with the chamara. They're really, and he's sitting on the big seat. And so Gadadhara thought, this is a sadhu. How can it be sadhu? So Mukunda could understand, so he recited a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Aho Bhakiyam Stanakala Kutam Jagam Sayapayanad Apya Sadvi. He's recited this verse, famous verse, in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a verse spoken by Uddhava to Lord Krishna. Uddhava came to get, what happened? Vidura came to meet Uddhava. Vidura was searching, he wanted to get more about Krishna, some love for Krishna. He came to Vrindavan, he met Uddhava. And Uddhava was telling him about Lord Krishna's pastimes. So he was saying, Aho Bhakiyam Stanakala Kutam Bhaki, Aho Bhakiyam, the sister of Baka. You know Bakasura?
Yeah, demon.
Yeah?
Yes.
The
demon.
big bird with a big beak. And that bird Bakasura, he swallowed Krishna at one point. He actually swallowed Krishna. Krishna went right inside him. Everyone died, but oh no, Krishna's been swallowed by this demon. But then Krishna came out because Lord Krishna is not an ordinary person. Baka had swallowed Krishna, but then Krishna came out, and then Krishna fought with Baka and broke his beak, right, and killed him. Baka. So, aho Bakiyam, but the sister of Baka. You know who the sister of Bakasura was?
Putana.
Putana, yes, right, Putana. She had a brother as well. You know her brother?
There was one more demon.
Haga, yes,
Agasura.
yes,
Aga.
Haga. Good family, yeah? Baka, Aga, Putana. Quite a family.
Let's make friends.
So, Lord Krishna had accepted that Stana Kala Kutam, her breast was coated with poison, Kala. This poison was on her Baka, Stana Kutam, that on her breast she had put this deadly poison. And her intention was to kill Krishna. And she'd gone to Mother Yashoda's home and picked up the baby and was putting her breast into the mouth of the baby. And of course Lord Krishna bit her and sucked out her life air. Actually, Lord Krishna played a trick that when she picked him up, Putana became a little fearful because she understood this child is very powerful. He could destroy the whole universe. Anyway, Lord Krishna tricked her to give her more confidence. Lord Krishna closed his eyes. He didn't look at her. Maybe he didn't want to see her face. But actually, she came in a very attractive form. She was not this big Rakshasa. She disguised herself by her yogic powers. She'd taken on the dress of
Very beautiful
young woman.
a gopi.
Oh, okay.
She was a gopi. She came as a gopi. One of the Brijbasi ladies, they thought she was a gopi. She was, just like a gopi, she came there. And they, who are you? Where are you? And that's how she could walk in there. She was disguising herself as one of the people of Vrindavan. So they thought she was a gopi. She came in. And everyone saw her and they thought, what an attractive, beautiful young lady has come. And so everyone just let her come in. And when she picked up the baby, no one objected. And she's even feeding her breast to the baby, no one's objecting. And then Krishna, he knows. And he bites and he takes out the life air. And of course when he does, then she screams, "Let me go!" And then she was in so much pain that she assumed her actual form as a Rakshasi. How big was she? How many miles?
Miles.
13.
Huh?
13.
13? Yeah. Really? I thought it was 8. I don't know, maybe you're right. Anyway, huge, many miles high. She took this huge form. And wow. And first of all, she rushed out of the house. She got out of the house and she assumed this huge form and, she fell down dead. And Lord Krishna's place. So the verse says, who could be more merciful than Lord Krishna? That he accepts this lady as his nurse. Labegatim datre uchitam tanonyam.
In next life, huh?
Yeah, he transferred her from the body of the demon Rakshasi Putana. She went back to Goloka to become one of his nurses there in Goloka. Not not like Mother Yashoda, of course. You know, Mother Yashoda, she is always Krishna's mother. But there are other nurses there to assist Mother Yashoda. So Putana got transferred there to that abode to be one of the assistants of Mother Yashoda. And so she's so fortunate, you know, to go to the highest abode in the spiritual world. So Uddhava was saying, who could be more merciful than Lord Krishna? That this Rakshasi came to kill him with poison on her breast, and he takes her and he sends her to Goloka to become one of his eternal servants there. And so when Gadadhara's, you know, Mukunda's chanting this verse, Aho bhakiyam stanakala kutam jagam sayapayana dhapya sadvi. He's chanting it so wonderfully, and Pundarik Vijayanidhi is sitting there, and he hears the verse, and he immediately knows what's, and he becomes stunned, and his bhava, his love for Krishna was aroused, and he fell over, he fell on the ground, and he rolled on the ground back and forth, and he was shedding tears, and his body was trembling, his hair was all standing on end, all different symptoms of ecstasy, of love of God. And he remained in that condition for several hours. And Gadadhara was there watching, and he was like astounded that, Gadadhara could understand these were genuine symptoms of love of God. Sometimes you get people pretend, you know. Sometimes you get people pretending they have love of God. But this was genuine symptoms. And he was really in ecstasy. And Gadadhara was watching, he was thinking, oh wow, he's a great devotee. He understood that this man must be such a great devotee. So he began to reflect. He said, he thought, I've been so offensive. I was thinking that he was a materialist. Gadadhara was thinking, I was looking only at the external features. I was not understanding his internal nature. So Gadadhara he thought, I have made offense. I'm guilty of an offensive mentality. I should not think so badly of him. So Gadadhara thought about it, and he thought that I should accept him as my guru. And so he came to Lord Chaitanya and he requested Lord Chaitanya, can you please give me permission that I can accept Pundarik Vijayanidhi as my spiritual teacher? And Lord Chaitanya said, oh, very nice. So that's very good. Yes, do it. So he went to Pundarik Vijayanidhi, and Pundarik Vijayanidhi, he had many disciples. So he said, yes, why not? You can become my disciple. So he initiated him one day. But it happened afterwards, Gadadhara had gone to Jagannath Puri. Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas and they'd all gone to Puri. So Gadadhara also went with them. Wherever Lord Chaitanya went, Gadadhara liked to go. So Gadadhara followed Lord Chaitanya to Jagannath Puri. And it happened at one point that Gadadhara somehow he lost the mantra which his guru had given him. His guru had initiated him and given him a mantra. Hare Krishna Prabhu. And his guru had initiated him and given the mantra. And somehow Gadadhara had lost this mantra. He'd lost this mantra. And so he came to Lord Chaitanya and he asked Lord Chaitanya, could you reinitiate me? I've forgotten the mantra my guru gave me. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, I cannot do that. He said, you wait for your guru to come. When your guru comes, then he can reinitiate you. And it happened. After some time, Pundarik Vijayanidhi came there to Jagannath Puri, and at that time he reinitiated Gadadhara and gave him the mantra again. So Gadadhara used to live in Puri with Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya would come to Gadadhara every day and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya liked to come to Gadadhara and hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya would like to hear, you know which passages Lord Chaitanya would like to hear from the Bhagavatam? Prahlad and Dhruva, right. Prahlad and Dhruva. Those were the two pastimes that Lord Chaitanya liked to hear. Gadadhara would read these pastimes again and again to Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya, at one point, he discovered a deity of Gopinath. He dug it out from the ground. Jagannath Puri, the beach is there, and at one point, one day, Lord Chaitanya just started digging away the earth, and he brought out this big, horrible deity. The deity had been there for a long time. So Lord Chaitanya brought the deity out, and he gave it to Gadadhara. He said, you should worship this deity. So Gadadhara would do the worship. The deity is still being worshipped. If you go to Jagannath Puri, you can see the temple of Tota Gopinath.
Oh yes.
That is Gadadhara Pandit's deity, Tota Gopinath. So it's one temple I can get in. I don't get into many temples because I'm not a Hindu, I'm not, they won't let me in the door.
In Jagannath Puri only, huh? In Jagannath Puri, you mean?
Jagannath Puri is like that, but there are other temples also. Oh yeah.
In the world?
Oh yeah.
Worldwide?
Yeah.
I thought only Jagannath Puri.
No.
Yeah?
Shakshi Gopal.
Oh, Shakshi
They won't
Gopal.
let you in. No. And even the Shivite, the big temple of Lord Shiva there in Bhubaneswar, they won't let you in. Orissa is very orthodox. Yeah, Orissa is quite orthodox. They won't let you in. But usually other temples are okay. Like even South India, Trivandrum, and Tirupati, you can get in, no problem. But Europeans, we won't get in, But Tota Gopinath we get in. They allow people. They're like the Gaudiya temple.
Okay. Yesterday a friend sent me a picture of Tota Gopinath dressed as Shadbhuj. And she says, I don't know what the occasion is. They dressed Tota Gopinath as Sri Shadbhuj.
Oh.
I saw a picture yesterday.
Oh.
And the devotee friend who sent it to me, she says, I don't know why they do that. But every so often they dress him and, they put extra arms on him.
Oh, really?
I thought perhaps you know what the occasion is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, must be some occasion. The Sadbhuj form, that is there. Of course, that was exhibited in Jagannath Puri. Lord Chaitanya showed Sadbhuj form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya.
And to Ramananda Roy also, twice.
Ramananda Roy, he showed the form of Radha and Krishna.
Oh.
But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he showed Sadbhuj form. Anyway, Gadadhara was given the worship of this deity of Gopinath. And he worshipped. And he was worshipping even in his old age. But it was becoming very difficult for him, to stretch up and put the crown on, put the ornaments on the deity. So at one point, the deity sat down. That's unusual. You don't see many deities where Krishna is sitting, but Gopinath is sitting down cross-legged. And they say that he sat down to make it easier for Gadadhara Pandit to serve the deity. And they say also the Tota Gopinath temple, this is one of the places where they claim Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared there. And there's a mark actually on the leg of the Gopinath deity. There's a gold mark there on the leg. They say this is where Lord Chaitanya entered into the deity. So, Gadadhara Pandit had many pastimes with Lord Chaitanya. And Gadadhara liked to follow Lord Chaitanya. And when Lord Chaitanya was going to South India, Gadadhara wanted to go with him. But Lord Chaitanya told him, no, I'm not going to take you. But Gadadhara wouldn't accept, and he tried to follow Lord Chaitanya. He tried to follow Lord Chaitanya, and eventually Lord Chaitanya got to a point, he just got in a boat, crossed the river, and said goodbye to Gadadhara. He told Gadadhara, he said, you've taken a vow to stay in Jagannath Puri. Gadadhara had taken a vow, which is something called Kshetra Sannyas, a vow to stay in the holy place. So Lord Chaitanya did not like people give up their vows. And Gadadhara had also vowed to maintain the worship of the deity of Gopinath. So Lord Chaitanya was telling him, you should keep your vows. Lord Chaitanya liked to see the devotees to be very steady in their service. He didn't like to see people give up one service and go and do something else. And he didn't like to see them chop and change. He liked them to be steady in their service. So Lord Chaitanya gave that instruction to Gadadhara.
And wasn't it that Gadadhara also had to take care of Sachimata, or was that somebody else?
No, that was
somebody
Lord
else?
Chaitanya had a servant. Yeah, there was a servant. The servant's name was...
Govinda? No.
The servant of Lord Chaitanya in the home of Sachimata.
Ishan?
Ishan. That's it.
Yes.
Ishan Thakur. Yes. Ishan Thakur.
My grandson's name.
He was a servant in the
Yes.
home of Sachimata. And it was Ishan who took some devotees on parikrama.
Yes.
So, anyway, Gadadhara Pandit stayed there in Jagannath Puri, and his line is still there, the descendants coming in the disciplic succession through Gadadhara Pandit. And they have a temple, there in Jagannath Puri. They're all descendant coming in the line through Gadadhara. So Friday is the disappearance of Gadadhara, and it's also disappearance of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, is the pioneer. Prabhupada described Bhaktivinoda Thakur as the pioneer in spreading Krishna consciousness in the Western world. Because it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who sent books to the Western world. And even in the year of Srila Prabhupada's birth, 1896, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had sent books to universities in the USA and Canada, as well as England. And devotees later, in the 1960s and so on, the devotees went to those universities, they found the books. The same books which Bhaktivinoda Thakur had sent, they were there, still there in the library. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur always worked very hard to establish the Krishna consciousness movement. Of course, he he wrote so many wonderful songs which we sing. He wrote one set of poems called Sharanagati.
Yes.
Right? The 6 items of surrender. And there's many songs for each of the 6 items of surrender. And there's that one song which we sing. Shuddha Bhakta Charana Rena Bhajana Anukula Bhakta Seva Paramasiddhi Premalati Karamula. This is a song about, what's the item? Hmm? 6 items of surrender. 6 items of surrender. Anuko Yasha Sankalpa, Pratiko Yasha Varjana. Accept everything favorable for devotional service. And reject what is not favorable. And then know that only Krishna can protect us. Only Krishna can maintain us. Have no desire other than Krishna's desire. And we should always be humble. These are the 6 items of surrender. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote on each one of the 6 items. And some of the songs are there in our Vaishnava songbook. If you go to Bangladesh, in Bangladesh I'm told that in the villages there many people know all the songs. They sing all the songs. And of course there are other songs by people like Narottam Das Thakur, and they're also very popular too. Bengali people, they love kirtan. They like to sing all these different songs because the songs are in their language. That makes a difference, you know. And Prabhupada said, when we sing these songs, we should know the meaning. Don't just sing the song. What does it mean? Oh, I don't know. We have to know. And that's why Prabhupada also would give purports to each of the songs. He would explain the significance of the different songs. Just like that song, Shuddha Bhakta. It's about accepting items which are favorable for devotional service. Right? What is favorable for devotional service? Shuddha Bhakta Charanarena Vajana Anuku Bhakta Seva Paramasiddhi Premalati Karamu. The dust of the feet of the devotees, very favorable to devotional service. And the association of the devotees. The remnants of their food, the water which has washed their feet, these things. This is...
But it's meant pure devotees, huh?
Yes.
No, not normal devotees. the water from their feet, better not.
Yeah, these things are... But anyway, these things are for the people, you know. People who have faith in the devotee. We do like Narada Muni, he accepted the remnants from the Bhaktivinodas who came to his home. And he had faith in them. Faith. If you have faith in the person, then okay. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was so industrious. He hardly slept. He's described as the 7th Goswami. Right? We have the 6 Goswamis. Are they on the altar there? Have you got a picture of the 6 Goswamis? Yeah, at the end of the Parampara.
Is also there.
Yeah, at the end of the Parampara, after Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji's, after Jagannath Das Babaji's picture,
yes,
then the 6 Goswamis are there.
Yes.
Rupa Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, right? 6th Goswami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, 7th Goswami.
What's the seventh Goswami?
But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was not a Goswami in the sense that he was a renunciate. He was renounced, but not in the sense like he wasn't a Babaji. He didn't take, initially anyway, he didn't take the Babaji dress. He was a Grihastha.
Yes.
And he had a large family. And he trained them all to be devotees. He brought them all up in Krishna consciousness. And the result was, of course, one of the children was...
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Yes, right.
Prabhupada's disciple, Prabhupada's guru.
Yes. So Prabhupada's spiritual master came from the family, a Seminole family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he preached. He not only wrote books, but he also preached himself. He went out preaching, he went to the villages. Because in his time, it was much more rural. The cities were not developed like they are today. Nowadays, the villages are not so populated. But in the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, most of the people were all living in the villages. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur would go to the villages and he would do programs. And they would have kirtan, and he would give class, and then distribute some prasadam. And in this way he was preaching. And he made many devotees. And of course, not only did he preach, he was writing books, and he was also searching out the actual birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because in the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, people were thinking that the birthplace of Mahaprabhu was over in Navadvip, across the Ganga from Mayapur. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur thought, how could it be there? Because there were so many signs that the birthplace had to be near to landmarks. There were landmarks like the Chandkazi Samadhi, the tomb of the Chandkazi. That has been there for 500 years. Nobody can change that. That was known to be near to the home, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So from things like that, the birthplace of the Samadhi of the Chandkazi, and then other things, of course, his attention had been brought to Mayapur. He had built his home in Swarupganj. Swarupganj is on the other side of Mayapur, across the Jalangi. Across the Jalangi river is Swarupganj. No, is it Swarupganj?
I don't know. I know the Jalangi River, but I don't know.
Anyway, he is living across the Jalangi. There's a village there. And his house is there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house, where he lived, and where he wrote his books, and where he was reflecting on how to establish the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, while he was staying there in his house, he had a rooftop, and he used to sometimes sit on the roof and chant. And from the rooftop he could see this glowing effulgence over in Mayapur. And he wondered what was going on, what was happening, why it was so effulgent there. Again and again he could see this light over there. So he decided he must go and investigate. And he went over there and he found a lot of tulsis. And then he was digging around, and they found a deity. And that deity was the deity of Lord Chaitanya's father, Jagannath Mishra. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur then brought Jagannath Das Babaji. He brought Jagannath Das Babaji there. And Jagannath Das Babaji, at that time he was over 100 years old. So he had to be carried in a basket. And they brought him there. But when Jagannath Das Babaji came there, He jumped up in the air. He was so happy. He said, yes, this is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Jagannath Das Babaji confirmed that this was the actual site. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because they had built a temple over in Navadvip on the other side of the Ganga. And now this person, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is coming along and he's saying, oh, it's not there, it's here. So he had to preach, he had to tell people, actually this is the birthplace. And he had to go and collect money to build a temple. Because he had some money, but he needed more to build a temple, would cost some money. So he said, I'm willing to go and beg 1 rupee from every gentleman in Calcutta. Well, in those days 1 rupee was more money. Well, now today 1 rupee, it's nothing. But in those days 1 rupee was a lot. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur built the temple there at the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later on, he got old, his body deteriorated in health, and he told the devotee, buy a horse, put me on the horse and take me for preaching. There were no cars. There was no cars, so he said, just buy a horse and take me out for preaching. That will be my pleasure. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur departed from the world. I think it was in Jagannath Puri when he actually departed. But they brought his body back to Mayapur. They made a samadhi there at Mayapur. Across the Ganga. His house is there. Have you been there? No? It's a nice place, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. And it's just around the corner from a place called Swarup, Surabi Kunj, where Surabi cow appears. And that place is also the headquarters of Lord Nityananda's Namhata. Lord Nityananda's Namhata originates from that place. And it was at that place Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote several books also. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did so much to help us establish this Krishna consciousness movement. He preached so much. At one point, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to print one book. This book was about the confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had read this book and he thought, oh, this book is so wonderful. I want to print this book. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, all right, you can print 1 copy. And he said, why only 1 copy? He said, because you're the only person who is qualified to understand and to appreciate this book. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was like that. He was quite strict, He knew how to handle even a powerful personality like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. That he told him, you print 1 book for yourself. Another time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you see, he had been the magistrate at Jagannath Puri, in charge of the temple there. And he checked all the accounts and he checked it and he found out there was some misappropriation of funds. The king of Puri had been taking money from the temple. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because he was in charge of the temple, he told the king of Puri, you have to repay this money. So the king was very angry. The king decided he would put a curse on Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So the king, he hired many brahmanas to come and do a big yagya. And the idea of the yagya was that they were going to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So they did this big yagya, and at the end of the month, the king's own son died.
So this was not Maharaj Prataparudra then?
Huh?
It wasn't Maharaj Prataparudra then?
No, not Maharaj. This is the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Maharaj Prataparudra is Lord Chaitanya's time, right? So this was like Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, which is 200 years ago. So another incident was, there was this one man, what was his name? That yogi with he had long hair. And fire was coming out of his hair. And he was claiming to be an incarnation of Vishnu. And he had associates. One said he was Shiva and one said he was Brahma. And they were very degraded people. They were debauchees, but they became very powerful. And they influenced many people, had many followers. And so the government were very worried about him. So they requested Bhaktivinoda Thakur to do something about it. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur heard how this man was claiming that he was an incarnation of God. So he went with soldiers and they arrested him. And they took that man to jail. So this man, he cursed Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, "You and all your family will die." And the man was quite powerful. He had mystic power. And so it happened that some of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's family, they got sick. And even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also got fever. But he refused to stop. He said, "No, this man has to be punished." He said, "Whatever happens, whoever may die, let them die. But this man has to be punished. He's a rascal number one. And we cannot let him go free." So even Bhaktivinoda, because this yogi, when he got arrested by the police, he began fasting. So he was fasting for many days. You know, these yogis, they have the long hair. They get their power from their hair, you see. They have long hair. And then he was fasting to give him more power, you see. And it was affecting Bhaktivinoda Thakur and his family. Different members of his family were all ill. And they told Bhaktivinoda Thakur, "You better let him go, drop the case, let him go free." Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "No, he has to be punished." And so they went to court and they had the court case and they heard everything. And the judge sentenced him to jail, to hard labor in prison. And then just at that time, one man came with big scissors and they cut all of his hair. And when they cut off all of his hair, he fell down on the ground. He was totally ruined. And when he went to prison, he drank poison, committed suicide. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur he was so righteous and so powerful. He could fight against all these evil elements to establish the proper principles of religion. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted so much to see Krishna consciousness distributed around the world. And he predicted that one day we would see all different nationalities there in Mayapur chanting the holy name. And he predicted also there would be a big temple would also come up in Mayapur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the pioneer of this Krishna consciousness movement. Okay, are there any questions? Anyone? Yes, Prabhu?
Maharaj, you started your lecture with, it's a technical question, using these terms like expansion, incarnation, inner potency, and when I read the Bhagavad Gita, I also read about, what is it, plenary portion or a portion of the plenary portion. I'm a bit confused. When do you use the one and the other? Is there a difference? Could you elaborate a bit more on that? It's more a technical, just for my understanding.
Yeah.
When do you use the one and the other? Is there a difference? Could you elaborate a bit more on that? It's more a technical, just for my understanding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Incarnation, expansion, plenary portion, you mentioned some of them, yes.
Well, that's the difference between Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda is the expansion, and Advaita Acharya is the incarnation.
Of?
Lord Chaitanya Krishna.
Of the devotee, of the Supreme Lord. The incarnation of the Lord and the expansion of the Lord.
But is there a difference in quality? When do you use expansion and when do you use incarnation in general?
Well, expansion, like Lord Nityananda, is not different from Lord Chaitanya. Lord Balaram's the expansion of Lord Krishna. They're not different. Only difference between Krishna and Balaram is in the color. But Lord Balaram is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right?
And incarnation is something else.
Yeah, incarnations, they'll come from Kshirodakashayi Vishnu usually. And within each universe, the incarnations, they come from Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. They are Purusha avatars. There's Kshirodakashayi Vishnu who resides in the middle of the milk ocean on Svetadvip.
And when do you use a plenary portion of? When do you use
Plenary portion? No, what?
plenary?
Means a portion of that personality. Plenary, and presenting some aspects of that person. Not everything. Just like if you have a plenary session, if you're having a seminar, something, you'll have a plenary session, you'll present some main point. So highlighting some aspect, like the four Kumaras, the transcendental knowledge, Narayan Rishi, highlighting renunciation, Kapila, Sankhya Yoga. The different incarnations highlight different aspects. Mm-hmm. Yes?
When we say the Pramadvani prayers, then we say, before Bhaktivinoda Thakur's name, Satchitananda.
Satchitananda.
Why?
Jai Om Vishnu Pada. Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Well, that's a name which was given to him by the devotees. Yeah. Name which was given to him by the devotees.
And in relation to Pramadvani prayers, I have one more question. It's like we say, Vishnupada Paramahamsa, Parivrajakacharya. So you said Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sends books to McGill in Canada. He sends
McGill University.
Yeah. So in this way he also preached worldwide. I mean, you said he was so for which personalities in the Parampara do we use the Parivrajacacharyas, and for which we don't use the Parivrajakacharya?
Well, Paramahansa, you can use it for all the acharyas there in that line.
The Parivrajakacharya title also?
If you want, yeah.
Because like Gaurkishore Das Babaji preached through Bhaktisiddhanta then.
Yes, Gaurkishore Das Babaji, Paramahamsa, Paribrajacacharya. There's different stages of sannyas, of renunciation. There's Bahudak, Kutichak, Paribrajacacharya and Paramahamsa. There are 4 different stages of sannyas. Kutichak is the person who first taking renunciation. He will live near the home, and from the home they will send food to him every day. And then Kutichak. Then next stage is they go away from the home, and the home will maybe send food after him, or they'll arrange someone to go with him to cook for him or something. And then Paribrajak Acharya is the one who goes everywhere preaching.
Yeah.
And Paramahamsa is the one, well, Paramahamsa means one who, like a swan, Hamsa, supreme swan. Paramahamsa, supreme swan. The swan knows the art to separate milk from water. So the Paramahamsa, he can be anywhere, he can stay anywhere, and he can be absorbed in transcendence. Paramahamsa, sometimes they won't travel, they'll just stay where they are. No need to travel anywhere. They just, Bhaktivinoda Thakur at the end of his life, he just stayed in Jagannath Puri. He just stayed there. He didn't move around.
But then, like, if these are the stages of sannyas, then for Gorkishore Das Babaji and for Jagannath Das Babaji, we won't use them then, Paramahamsa and Parivrajacharya, because they were not sannyasis.
Who?
Gorkishore Das Babaji and Jagannath Das Babaji.
They're higher than sannyasis.
So
They're Babaji.
we can use these titles anyway.
Yeah, they're higher than sannyasis. Sannyasis that's a material designation. Babajis are above that.
Yeah.
That is why we don't have Babajis today in our society, because it's a very, very advanced stage. There was one time Prabhupada initiated one boy as a Babaji.
Oh, disciple?
Yeah. It happened, it was like 1976, it was this one boy. What happened was, he came from America and they came with all the Western devotees, they came from the USA. And they brought this one boy to Prabhupada and they told Prabhupada, they said, Srila Prabhupada, they said, this boy is going to die. He's got some disease and doctor told him he's going to die, he doesn't have long to live. But he's going around to the colleges and he's preaching to people and he's telling them that I'm preparing for death. I've got the disease, I'm going to leave the body soon, and he would tell them, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm preparing myself for my departure. This is how to use the human life. And he was telling them, he was preaching. So they said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, it would be good, could you give him sannyas? Could he become a sannyasi? And Prabhupada said, well, he said, if he's going to die, that's not very good for sannyas. That's not a reason to give someone sannyas, just because they're going to die. But he said, what he can do is, we can give him Babaji initiation. He can be a Babaji. And he can just sit and chant Hare Krishna. That's Babaji. Babajis usually they don't preach. They just sit and chant. They don't go anywhere, they just chant. Like Gorkishore Das Babaji had an eye problem. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to take him to Calcutta. He said, I will not go to the material world. He refused to leave Mayapur. He said, I will not go to the material world. But Babajis, they just want to stay, they just chant, just do the bhajan. They're bhajananandis. There's Ghostavanandis and bhajananandis. Ghostavanandis are preachers. The bhajananandis are just doing their bhajan.
Yes.
Chanting all day, every day, 64 rounds, and absorbed in Krishna Lila. So, Gorkishore Das Babaji, Jagannath Das Babaji, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur at the end of his life, he also took Babaji initiation, where they just chant. So that, they wear white. That shows their This saffron dress means you're still in the material world. This means the material world. You're designated as being in the material world. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. These are all material designations, ashrams of the material world. But Babajis, they're transcendent, they're above all that. So white, that's the white. The white means Paramahamsa. The topmost position. So Paribrajacacharya, they go everywhere preaching.
Yeah. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Sutra Satsima Sivaya Bhaktivinoda and Bhaktisiddhanta. Those are the Parivraj. Preaching.
Paramahamsa, Shiva Gorkishore Das Babaji. So Paramahamsa, Shiva Gorkishore Das Babaji.
Sorry?
We say Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. That's how we should say it then.
Paramahansa Paribrajacacharya Ashtatara Tata Sri Sriman.
His divine.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, His Divine Grace.
His divine.
Who Gorkishore Das Babaji?
Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Okay. Any other questions? So we'll chant Hare Krishna for a little while.